Hello people out there, welcome to my introduction video for my software mail relaying over DNS. And yeah, let's head straight into it. So this project is for mail server administrators, or in general server administrators who are maintaining email servers, and it serves the following purpose. So if you have an email server, for example, you have a primary server with software running like Plesk or ISP config or things like that, and you have customers using the mail functionality and stuff like that. And yeah, as you know, if your primary server goes offline and you have a domain there with email inboxes and stuff like that, then it can happen that incoming mail will not be delivered because the server is offline, of course, and yeah, they get rejected. So what this software will do is it will give you the possibility to easily create a second server. So for example, you can create another virtual server and install that software on it, and it will serve as a secondary mail server. So every time your primary server goes offline and incoming email would be rejected, you will have the possibility to let the email go to a secondary server, a secondary MX server. So the secondary server where the software is running on will then store the email until the primary server is online again and deliver it at that point. So yeah, I have a little image here to demonstrate that a little bit. So you have an email right here, and if your primary mail server, a server where your software and customers are on, if this is online and acting normally, then the mail will get delivered like usual to the primary mail server. But in case this primary server is offline, mail, in the normal case, it would be rejected now, and the sending user would become a message, something like mail couldn't be delivered. But if you set the software up, you can make a system like this mail would not get rejected, and it will be transferred to the secondary server. This would be the server where this software is installed, and the email would be saved on the server until this primary server is online again and delivered when it is. So you can have different primary servers with that software, so you are not stuck to one, and you have different possibilities to determine which domain needs to be on which primary server. I will come to that later. So So in the panel we have a simple user management with permissions. You will have a web interface where you can control all the stuff you need to do. So this is basically a web software. You will install it on your web server, and after that you will be able to log in at the web interface and make changes to the setup for single domains or multiple ones. Or you can add relay servers, for example, to connect domains with it. And maybe it's important to mention that if you have relay servers inside that software, you can later connect domains by adding DNS entries and a TXT entry, which points to that primary server. But you can find more information about that on the documentation for that software, which URL I will provide later. So there's another feature included in that software I did use into my environments, and this is that I have a lot of secondary DNS servers which are running the software side by side, and the software can get the local domains from the local bind DNS instance. So if you have a secondary DNS server yourself, you would be able to install that mail relaying software on that server, and you would not have the need to set it up yourself, because it would be able to fetch the local domains which have been replicated by other servers as well into this structure. So Another thing is the blacklisting functionality, which is really just a small feature for the login and security here. So if people log in too many times with the wrong password, then an IP address area will get blocked until you deblock it into the web interface. And you will have full control over the domains which have been inserted by automatic functions or by yourself inside the interface. So you can manage which relay servers are used, you can see which domains are available right now, and do all the stuff which may be needed to done with this panel. The target audience for the software are mail server administrators. You need a Linux server with a public IP connected to the internet. A domain or a subdomain is recommended to point to that server. And to use the web interface, you need Apache 2, PHP 8, and MySQL installed on the server. Important information here. So this script, if you install it, you should always install it on a dedicated server, on a dedicated mail server, only for that case. So never install that software here on a server which is operating Plesk or virtualmin or other software which handles email settings, because this software will actively rewrite postfix stuff and settings. And so if you have a running environment, this will, I'm pretty sure this will break your environment. So just be sure that you don't install that software on a server which has a running email configuration and is already acting as an email server or service. The installation procedure is kind of the usual way. You download the repository, upload the files out of the source directory to your webspace root folder. After that, you need to check the settings.sample.php, and inside that file you will have various list of settings you can set up, and you have explanations inside that file about that settings. You have also explanations about every single setting inside the documentation of that software. And if you have made all the settings which are needed, and you have set it up like you want, then you can rename settings.sample.php to settings.php to make it available to the website. You don't need to create any databases or tables or something like that. If you have if your entered SQL data from MySQL is correct, then the software will install all tables automatically and create an initial user which you can log in with username admin and password change me. Here are some settings for postfix. These are the default settings. You need to set up postfix by yourself. This is the file called main.cf, and it's in the postfix configuration directory in the etc folder in Linux. So you can, by the way, there is more information about that in the documentation, and this video is not really a good guide how to install that software. So if you install the software, look at the documentation, please, and follow the steps which are described there, which will give you more insights about different things. But to get to a few basics here, you have a few things which are in stars here, which you need to change. So you have a certificate file and a key file which need to be inserted here, which acts as your for connections as a certificate. And you would need to enter your email hostname here, the hostname you would use to connect domains to it as secondary MX entry. And another setting which is important is maximal queue lifetime. This means how long mails are stored to be delivered to the primary server. So after 13 days, they would be deleted from the server, and a message would go back to the sender that it has been rejected. So this is another thing. If you have this set up and you have the secondary mail server running on a domain, and an email is scoring to the server because the primary server is offline. The sending user will not get a notification about that, so there will not be a notification like your email has been delayed or something like that. This is not yet included, so the sending user will know nothing about that. So this lifetime also defines when a user will be notified if a mailbox, for example, is not existent. So so if the primary server times out and an email goes to the server, it will try to deliver for, here in this example, 30 days. And even if the mailbox does not exist, and after that time it will send back a bounce message that the email could not be delivered. So it's recommend to to maybe change that to 10 days or something like that. So I don't think your primary server will go offline for more than 10 days, so 10 days should be good here. You need to set up 2 cron jobs to make this running. One is optional. The first cron job is to clear the blacklist for IP blocking every day or every week. You can set this up like you want. And this is optional as well, to be honest. And the second cron job is to fetch DNS entries from a local DNS server if you have this server set up as a slave server as well in DNS measures. So in fact both of them are optional. The second one here is just to fetch local entries if you have them. If not, don't use it. The first one is to clear the blacklist. If you need it, use it. If not, not. And yeah, so if all is set up, you need to do some settings on your domain. So basically we have 3 ways how the determination how a domain is connected to a relay server can be handled. We have auto per domain. This means if a new domain gets entered into the web interface or fetched locally, the domain itself will be used as primary server. So if you have the domain example.com and it gets inserted into this system, it will be primary server example.com and mails will be delivered to example.com. In most cases this is working, but if you have so you have other possibilities to achieve a connection to a relay server. Another way is to make a DNS TXT entry, which needs to be enabled in the settings.php, which means you can add a TXT entry to a domain, which tells the system which relay server ID shall be used. You can get the relay server ID by adding one in the web interface. The ID will be there. And you can write it in the TXT entry. More information about that in the documentation and in the settings file. And then it will be auto-assigned. If the assign is failing due to the relay server is not existing, then it will fall back to auto per domain. Besides that, you can always set up domains manually in the web interface and set up the connection of them and the mail relaying of every single domain. And you can override things which have been auto-inserted like you need them. If you need help, take a look at the documentation page I mentioned earlier. This is a page you can find here. It's www.bugfish-github.de. It's a DE domain, but the documentation is written in English, don't worry. I have a forum where you may join and can write if you have any problems or something like that, and you are welcome to use this video's comment section to ask any questions or pose problems you maybe have. This project is created by me and comes with MIT license, which means you can use it commercial and private without any restrictions. So do with it what you want, copy it and whatever. Yeah, that was pretty much all, and I hope you can get some need of that software and maybe use it in your own environment. I have tested it for a long time. I am now using it for myself for around 4 years or something like that, and I don't think that there are any greater bugs left. I don't think that there are any at all. So I don't think you will get any problems if you want to use the software. Yeah, and that's all so far. I hope you have a great day. You got some information out of it, and bye bye.